Disclaimer: this video is not a defense of R. Kelly nor his actions, which have already been going through the courts and decided. I have to put that out there because I know that people are going to hear what I'm about to say and think, "You're defending R. Kelly?" No, I'm not. But understand this: not everything that has to do with the R. Kelly case is bad for R. Kelly, and not everything that's bad for R. Kelly has to do with the case. With that being said, we recently heard a interesting thing about TMZ. Now, y'all know what they are. They have they're bottom dwellers. They feed on the worst of society, and they're all about finding things that really looks like the dregs of society and makes it public. And they just wanted all kinds of views to be seen from it. Really horrible things, to things that sometimes, you want to know. However, this particular thing kind of showed them in a really bad light, and more so a bad light when it comes to the black population. This person was approached by TMZ about the story of this person having interaction with R. Kelly while behind bars. Now, they wanted his story, but they didn't want the story the way the guy was presenting the story. What they wanted was a salacious one. They wanted him to talk about maybe being violated while back there, or R. Kelly got violated, or something bad. They wanted to get the salacious details of something that never took place at all, and they did not want his story if that was not added into it.
Jacob Wiseman, he a TMZ news reporter, so he reached out while I was in MCC Chicago with R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Through a friend of mine, basically, like, you know, because you have Ronnie Bo call us an email. So I called the nigga and we do an interview over the phone. And I basically telling the truth, what's going on, you know, from my perspective. I'm trying to do the book deal with R. Kelly. Yeah, we chopping it up about this, that, and the other, all type of shit. But, you know, I'm waiting. I'm watching TMZ while I'm in there waiting on the story to come out, waiting on the interview to come out. It never did. So when I reached back out to him, he like, oh, well, our producers is not interested in this story. I think they was more so thinking you was gonna say he getting in there, y'all bullying him, y'all beating his ass, and that wasn't the case. We weren't beating his ass up in there. He had one incident where the farmer ran in his room and did something to him, but he wasn't getting right. That's not my story. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, me and R. Kelly talked about all type of shit, but that's between me and him. You know, the shit that I publicize is what I feel like he might not mind me publicizing. You know, I talked to Bruce Kelly, his older brother, and he asked me, you know, not to publicize certain things, and I gave him my word that I would no longer talk about the incident with Jay-Z. But, you know, when he get on the platform, he talking about more shit than I was talking about and go into more detail. You know, I could have did the same shit. You know, I know a lot of shit that I'm just not gonna publicize because I don't want to. I got love for R. Kelly. I don't want to harm him. But TMZ, like that shit, that go into what Trump said about fake news. You know, they only gonna publicize what they want to publicize, a certain narrative. They not gonna publicize no real shit. Like the shit that I be talking about, they don't want to hear no real shit, and they definitely don't want to hear no good shit about R. Kelly. And I ain't gonna say that I got a lot of good to say about R. Kelly, but I'm not gonna publicize nothing bad about the man because he cool. I got love for him.
So what does that really mean about what TMZ's job is? Now, yes, they get, body cams, and they will get these CCTV kind of pictures, and they'll get sometimes phone videos and stuff like that. But let's dig a little bit deeper and watch the consistency of type that they put out and who are the predominant race that they try to put out there in the negative light. You don't find this kind of weird that almost all of their content has to do with black people behaving a certain way and promoting it. And not only that, looking for content that puts black people in a bad light. Mind you, it's not just TMZ, but they're one of the big ones. You have, of course, places like World Star Hip Hop that kind of kicked it off before Vine really took over and when the internet was now sweeping in. That kind of stuff, any kind of fight you could find, it's right there, World Star. In walks TMZ with a little more sophistication is what I would call it. They didn't want to necessarily blast it all over the place as ratchet. However, we didn't do it. We just got the footage. We're not celebrating it. We're just talking about it. However, we now know that it's not the case. They're actually trying to tell people to only give them information to make certain people look bad. So are you really just giving information, or are you twisting the outlook of people by what you put out? That's exactly, ironically, what TMZ does. They're not found footage. They're not rare archives. They're not CCTV and random people videotaping strange events. No, it's orchestrated. It's almost planned, and with money behind it. You see, I wouldn't be surprised if TMZ are the kind of people that every story they get, they call first and tell them, make sure you record and say certain things and do certain things. I would not be the least bit surprised, especially if I'm going to go based on what was already proven to be true. If you're going to call me and tell me you want my story, I'll give you my story. But you don't then turn around and tell me, well, I don't want that part. I need you to make up another part that didn't happen and make it look as though it was part of the story. Then you don't want my story. You want your own. And you don't need me for that. Go hire a writer. But to make it look real and make it look like it's normal across the board and everybody's going through it, you have to curl every bit of that detail and this detail and that detail into the middle to fit the narrative. And that's exactly what TMZ does. They are really no different than I would call them vultures. They're vultures. They're already preying on a half-dead situation and looking to find ways to kill it. And they've been quite successful at it. Very successful. Let's take a case in point. I'm not saying, again, I'm not defending Jonathan Majors or anything that took place in that situation. However, what was the very first person that got the bad rap? Who was it? Was it the white chick? Nope, it was Jonathan Majors. I don't find those things very odd. I mean, I do, but I don't, because I know TMZ. But don't you find it kind of weird that every time that situation shows up, it's always the, that shows up in the bad light in those things? Only to find out later that, wait, you missed the whole story. Now, did they? Did they miss the whole story, or did they orchestrate it? And if they did orchestrate it with that kind of a taint towards black people, is it intentional? And if it's intentional, what does that say about TMZ? Y'all can ask them. I think they have a hotline you can call and tell them you found something. I don't know, but you can ask them, do you guys really curl your view or curb all your information to have a slight tinge towards black? What is that? What is up with all your content? And did you actually call somebody to ask them for all the salacious details that never took place, but for them to lie about it? Did you do that? And if you did do that, why would you do that? I thought you were just wanting people to know the truth. Well, here's the truth. TMZ doesn't want the truth. TMZ wants ratings, and they also want the demise of black culture, whatever that is anymore. But they definitely want the demise of black people here in America. They know how to do it. They know exactly how to put their picture out there, their video out there, their messaging out there. For all intents and purposes, they're another arm of the boule. They won't tell you that. No. They're just revealing truth. The question then becomes this. If you are revealing truth, TMZ, whose truth is it?